Hi, I'm C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations, and you are listening to The Solo Show.
Coming up on another Solo Show adventure.
So now all of a sudden he sees Ahsoka all these years later, and he's like, well, first thing I want to do is you either fight me or I kill you. Well, that's not a light side way of thinking. if it's supposed to be him after death.
I think that was more to get Ahsoka to finish her training and to get rid of her fears.
Stan welcomes Jedi Scott and Ken the voiceover guy for another visit to the Solo Studios as we talk episodes 5 and 6 of Ahsoka, streaming now on Disney+. The Solo Show, as always, is brought to you by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney and the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Realtor Victor Naraki makes living near Walt Disney World a reality, specializing in all the communities surrounding Disney. Whether you're looking to relocate or invest in a new property, maybe you want a vacation home for your retirement. With over a decade of experience in the area, Victor will adapt to your needs, help you find the right property, or get you the best price for your property. Reach out to him today on his website, celebratingflorida.com, or at disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Follow him at Victor Naraki Realtor on Facebook, and don't forget to tell him that the Solo Show sent you.
On our show, the story goes in places you can't imagine with new characters you've never seen in live action before.
Rosario brings people together. She's a perfect leader of the show.
In this story, Ahsoka hears whispers of the Empire returning, and she decides to enlist Hera's help.
We have to prepare for the worst.
Hera Syndulla is the leader of the Ghost Crew. She's a pilot. Hera is such an incredible leader and fighter.
Mary's just great. I mean, every scene she's in was just awesome.
You and I both know who could help you with this.
Oh my God, that is Sabine. Natasha's so perfect for the character.
Sabine's already a warrior and very proven, and she's Ahsoka's former apprentice.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
I love Sabine. She struggles with her emotions. She's impulsive. I think she's just relatable. She's got good intentions, but she doesn't always make the right decision.
I love the complexity of the characters in this. They're a bit unpredictable. They're all struggling with a set of circumstances, and they need each other.
Buckle up.
This is so powerful. This is provocative, exciting, and fun. I can't wait for people to watch it.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Rising Suns, and welcome to this week's edition of the Solo Show. We're doing another roundtable discussion. This week we're talking Ahsoka Part 5, Shadow Warrior, and Part 6, Far, Far Away. And I can't do this on my own. I need my two buddies with me. We're going to start off with the guy that logged in first. Jedi Scott, how are you today? And what did you think of Part 5 and 6?
I'm doing great. I think Part 5 was just visually stunning with all the scenes they had in there. And Episode 6, watching it the second time, I appreciated it a lot more. So overall, so far, so good. I am enjoying it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I really, really liked Part 5. I like that whole world between worlds, everything there. Far, Far Away, it started off great with Ahsoka and what's it? I can't get his name. Husin?
Oh, Huyang?
Huyang. In the ship. I liked all that part, but I don't know, it kind of lost me. There was some parts in it that just really irked me. Maybe we can work it out and I'll enjoy it better. But I did enjoy him. Also joining us is Ken, the voiceover guy. Ken, how are you today? And what did you think of this week's two-parters?
I'm always happy to be on your show here, Stan. You know that because I really have nothing else to do on a Saturday night. But you know what? These two episodes for me were probably the two most uneven episodes of the run so far. I liked them both. I think I agree. I enjoyed the fifth one very much. The sixth one, there are some things about it that I really enjoyed, and there were some things about it that I was a little bit ticked off about. So we can talk about that.
Yeah. So I guess I kind of spoiled stuff if you didn't know, but we're going straight into spoilers. We're not going to. We wait enough time before we release these that you should have watched them. And if you haven't watched them yet, well, then that's on you. So let's start off with part 5. It kind of, I guess it it where we left off with that. What is the name of that planet or that area? Is it Stonehenge or Stonehenge? It looks like Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Did you catch a name?
I'd have to go look through my notes and check it. I know they did have a name on it, but
yeah, everybody's just calling it Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And they know what you're talking about. So Hera, Jaqen, and Chopper are there, and they're trying to figure out what happened here because Ahsoka's gone, Sabine's gone, the map is busted in half. There's gears popping out of it. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know. And then they find Huang standing there with Sabine's helmet, and he's a sad droid because
I noticed that on the second go around watching it with Hu Yang standing right there. When they're like, and Hera's asking, "Where's everybody at?" And he just sits there and doesn't say nothing. And then they kind of hear him like banging around or something, moving. You would think he would have stepped up and said, "Over here," or something to that effect.
Well, yeah, exactly. And he was sad, I guess. He was moping. But what was weird was he said, "I told them to stick together. They never listened." How did he know they didn't stick together? He was nowhere around there.
Probably just seeing Sabine's helmet being there, laying there on the ground, and Ahsoka not being gone or being gone.
How he put those two and twos together. Did it make sense to you, Ken?
It seemed very strange. I think the only thing you can say is he must have drawn the conclusion, like you say, he saw the helmet sitting there on the ground. I think he just probably assumed they wouldn't listen to him, is what it boils down to.
Yeah. He did say they never listen. They never listen. So I don't know.
and we know that about Sabine's character anyway. I mean, she obviously, like, she's proven in the previous episodes that, she tends to go off on her own tangent, and that can be a little frustrating.
Yeah. But the whole time he was back at the ship, like he wasn't there to see that they split up. So who knew? I don't know. He did a good job fixing the ship because later on it was good to go.
True.
So he knew how to fix the ship. The world between worlds is where Ahsoka is. I felt that the CGI Anakin this week looks way better than it did last week. Did you feel the same?
Much better.
Oh, I thought it looked good. I like the different versions of Anakin, as you could tell with his hair and his armor and stuff like that. They did a real good job on this. The budget must have been a little bit higher on this episode to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like last week's wasn't finished, or like Ken said, it was a mirrored image of Anakin or something, or it was something off in part 4.
It was just very strange. Like it's just, to me, it didn't even really look like Hayden Christensen in that first appearance. What I loved about this week's episode, the looks of Hayden Christensen, it was just like live action redo of the Clone Wars and of Rebels. It was just spot on.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So then I guess they start battling Anakin and Ahsoka. Now I don't understand exactly what this world between worlds is. Is it like the tree in Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back that Luke goes into that we don't really get to see, where Yoda says to him, you only have what you bring in with you. So Luke brought in like fear of Vader, and that's why he faces Vader. And now is Ahsoka kind of afraid of Anakin / Vader, and that's why she comes across Vader. That's what I'm kind of finding the parallels, or maybe I'm off base.
No, I kind of agree with you, Stan. I think that's the impression I'm getting at it. It's what is Ahsoka's downfall? I think she was upset that she left Anakin, and so that's what her downfall is.
Yeah, and almost
so
like
she's facing herself.
it.
She's blaming herself for it.
Yeah. So
and there's a theory floating around too. I don't remember what website I read it on, but somebody was saying that they think that is actually where Anakin lives now. That he lives in all three, in the past, in the present, and the future. He is now living like he is in the living force, and that's where Anakin lives now. And whether it's meant to be a form of penance for what he did as Vader, or whether that's just maybe his reward for becoming. One of the theories I read is that somebody was saying that he's completing the prophecy by doing what he's doing, that he is the chosen one, and he is the person bringing balance to the light and the dark side of the Force by being able to traverse the two. I mean, that's a theory that
doesn't really stack up though, because at the end of Jedi, when he dies, he supposedly went to the light side.
Yeah, he was a Force ghost.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden he sees Ahsoka all these years later, and he's like, well, first thing I want to do is you either fight me or I kill you. Well, that's not a light side way of thinking. If it's supposed to be him after death. So
I think that was more to get Ahsoka to finish her training and to get rid of her fears on that, to fight for a living. And what did that have to be? You're either going to die or you're either going to live. Is that because she was in the ocean and she was going to drown? You know, if she decided to die, was she going to drown and not be able to? They weren't going to be able to find her then? Because in reality, you know, I don't know. I kind of had some questions about that. You know, with Anakin, with the world between worlds, was this like Anakin being alive? Was this a Force ghost of Anakin? Was this part of Ahsoka's subconscious talking to her? I don't know. It was a number of different things I couldn't figure out.
Yeah. That's kind of how I'm feeling as well. But oh well, we'll it is what it is, I guess. It's the past, the present, and the future all at the same time.
Well, you know, we jump forward a little bit. You know, Hu Yang even asked, "So you tell me a story, Ahsoka." You know, she didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
I like to see her explain what was going on. Apparently, Jason was able to hear it, so that was interesting and telling. So I like to hear Ahsoka telling, you know, whether it's Sabine or it's Hu Yang or Hera or whoever. I like to hear her explanation of things.
Of what she felt happened in there. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense. So he ends up slicing the bridge that they're on, and she falls and she lands right into the battle. And it's the first battle that she has while she was a youngling. Like, what the heck? How young were these kids they had fighting these wars? She was pretty young there to be running in the middle of a battlefield with a lightsaber swinging it around. That it's weird. Like in animation, we saw it all these years and years ago. We never really thought twice about it. But when it's in live action, it kind of hit me more that these are kids fighting.
Well, I think they had to. You know, they had to get everybody there to help change the tide.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So Carson keeps pushing for them to head back, the X-Wing pilot, which is, I'm loving that they're having Carson in all these series. He's in Book of Boba Fett and all that. But that just seemed kind of odd to me, the way he kept, like, several times he kept saying, we have to go back. Mom Mothma wants us to go back. Like, it's almost like later on, if Hera does get demoted, Carson's going to be like, I told you so. So I kind of.
Well, then Hera is supposed to be a general too, you know, and Carson's a captain, so you know what? You do what your general's told. Yeah, they're asking us to go back, but then all Hera has to do is like, hey, I'm in command here, and tell them the general's telling me to hold on. I'll get back to you when I can.
Yeah. I don't know why Hera didn't just respond to the council and say, hey, listen, I got something going here. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, whatever. Take a vacation day or something. Call in sick.
I think what made things worse is they lost, two X-Wing fighters and 2 pilots. That's probably what made it worse.
Yeah.
It's like you defied orders by going and you cost 2 pilots their lives. So that's the only thing I could see with the ramifications of it, because the Ghost is Hera's ship. It's not the Republic's or the Rebellion. So, you lost 2 pilots and 2 ships, and maybe that's why she's in hot water.
Well, plus they told her not to go, and she went anyways.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm thinking that's why she's in hot water, because they lost 2 pilots and 2 ships.
Yeah. I want to get back to the Vader and the Anakin. I absolutely just love the scene where they did once where Anakin was walking away and he kind of flickered to Vader and the lightsaber turned from blue to red. That one was cool, but the one when he was walking towards her and he flickered to Vader, I just got chills on my arm. Like all my hair stood up on my arm when that happened the first time watching. It's very, very well done.
Oh, the visual, it was amazing to see that. He's going into battle and he's going from Anakin to Vader back to Anakin, and the changing of the lightsabers.
Yeah. I just love that whole scene. And the detail that they did, like Ahsoka's, when she went through the different, I guess it was 2 different battles. Her headdress that she wears has changed over the years, and they replicated the headdress perfectly that they used in animation that they put into the right time period that she wore for those particular battles.
Yeah,
the detail.
Yeah, that other battle was the Siege of Mandalore, and Anakin wasn't there. As you could recall, he made a comment about it, and that's because that's when they started initiating Order 66,
right,
and all that. So he wasn't there.
Yeah. So I just thought that whole scene was just done extremely well, other than not understanding what the heck was going on. I mean, it was great storytelling, but poor storytelling at the same time, because nobody knows exactly what the deal is.
Well, and I think that whole ordeal with World Between Worlds is the casual Star Wars fan that never watched Rebels, they would not have a clue of what's going on.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out, even us that had watched Rebels, we kind of got an idea, but we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, like, is this in her head? Is this actually happening? It's just weird. But I don't know. I guess maybe someday it will be explained better to us. And then she kind of, I thought that the sky was falling, but I guess she was actually lowering. Like, it looked like you could see, like, this looks like the stars were falling, or the camera was changing angles or something. I'm not quite sure. But she starts sinking into the water. And the next, she's back on, no longer in the World Between Worlds, but back on.
She was into the ocean.
Yeah. And you got the X-Wing pilot diving in and pulling her out and rescuing her. I thought that was cool.
No, visually, this episode was amazing with what they did. And before we forget, I liked when they went from the Siege of Mandalore back into World Between Worlds, like on the bridge. I liked how Anakin's voice was shifting to like Darth Vader's voice. You could hear the mechanism of his voice.
Yes, that was very cool.
Yeah, like the James Earl Jones voice would kick in every once in a while. Yeah, for sure. So Ahsoka's out. They put her in bed. She wakes up after one rotation with no. I think that's the first time we saw her with no headpiece.
Yeah, that was she kind of looked different. She looked weird.
Yeah,
without her headpiece on.
Yeah, but great job on the makeup. Like, it was a smooth transition and all that. And you notice where her ears would be, there's like little holes, because we never get to see that because there's always a headpiece on. But she had two little holes kind of behind her head tails, or in front of her head tails.
Now, is this the Ahsoka, like with the Lord of the Rings with Gandalf the Grey now? Is this Ahsoka the Grey, or Ahsoka the White?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. Like, sure, why not? She was reborn, I guess.
Yeah.
But this isn't her first time in the World Between Worlds. Like, no. Yeah. Like,
but I maybe think that she realizes now that, or it seemed like anyways, that she realized, hey, this wasn't my fault that Anakin changed, and all that. I think that came to reality with essentially the final training of Anakin and Ahsoka.
Yeah. It was very cool. It was very cool. So Hera is told that she could possibly be demoted, and that and it's Mom Mothma, I guess, that's doing the transition. Like, that you're letting her know, giving her heads up. Well, do you have any evidence? She goes, well, no. He goes, well, there's a good chance you're going to be demoted. Bring Ahsoka with you, because you're going to need her, to stand up for you, to testify for you. And Hera doesn't really think about herself. She lets Ahsoka leave. Like, she doesn't even bring it up to Ahsoka that, hey, I need you to testify for me, or I'm going to get demoted. I think Hera's days of being a general are numbered.
That would make sense. I mean, situation.
Yeah, she gotta face the actions that she did.
Yeah. So the fleet, rather than waiting for them to come to them to back, they go searching for Hera, and Carson's sent to delay them. I thought that was kind of funny how he's like, who are you? What are you doing here?
All right, I got a question about that. They bring the fleet in to make Hera come back and Ahsoka come back. But why didn't they send the fleet out there originally with them then?
Exactly.
You know, if you're going to take the effort of sending them just because they broke the rules, essentially, why didn't you send it out to begin with? Then you could have seen what was going on.
Yeah, and they said, like, you know, we had this hyperspace engine that was stolen. We tracked it. We know they're up to no good. We know they're up to something. We want to send out the fleet, and they're like, well, we can't send the fleet. It's not a good day. And then like 2 days later, they send the whole fleet just to pick her up.
Yeah. I think it goes to our theories that we had the discussion about last time with there's parts of the Empire in there that are getting the wheels turned in there, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing the first few hints of the loyalists are starting to make themselves known at this point.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I think it's gonna come out in the wash.
We won't send you guys the help, but when you guys are in trouble by disobeying our orders, we'll send the fleet out to go bring you back.
Yeah.
And to arrest you or to demote you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're there to pounce when the goings get rough. They're there to pounce.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. The flying with the Purgles was cool. I like the Purgles. A lot of people say that it's not Star Wars, the space whales. I think we've seen them enough times between Mandalore and Rebels and all that. And we it reminds me of the space slug from Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah.
Like granted, it was a creature living in an asteroid, but still, it didn't need any. It was able to leave it didn't need breathing apparatus or anything. We could live in space.
Yep. No, I agree. I liked it. Yeah. I thought it was pretty visualing when those Purgles started coming out and the rebellion fleet was right there. Like, hey, you better get out of the way.
Yeah.
And I think their mouths just dropped when they seen it. Now, that being said, is this common? Does the rest of the galaxy know that these space whales or /Purgles? It almost seemed to me like that was the first time they ever seen them.
I think that they're known, but they're rare.
All right.
Yeah.
Was my impression, because I think that they're. It's like we're living on land, so we don't see whales too often, but we know that there are whales, and when we do see them, we're fascinated by it. You go on a cruise ship and you see dolphins or you see whales, and we're fascinated to see these creatures.
Very true.
But we're not. We don't see them every day, and I think that's kind of the same type of scenario. She did say take evasive actions, and they do nothing. Like they sit right there and the Purgles go around them. that was kind of funny. And Ahsoka goes out on the wing of the ship again to talk to the Purgles. She seems happiest when she's outside of her ship, standing on the wing. Did you notice that? This is the second time now she's done that. Yeah. Both times she got a smile on her face. I think she likes riding on the wing.
Well, I think she's a different person now too. With this episode, she's a different person. She's not the same Ahsoka that she was, in episode 4. After her encounter, I think she's a different person now.
Yeah, I think so. She was kind of mopey though in the next episode at the beginning. She's sort of sitting there with her arm rested on the. I mean, it's a long flight. You're sitting inside a whale's mouth. Speaking of which, she gets into a whale's mouth. She asks the Purgles for a ride, and they oblige. They said, "Sure, we'll give you a ride. Hop into my mouth. That's the best place for you to ride." I guess there's worse places to ride in a whale.
That's Pinocchio.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought it was good. The next episode we don't see very much Ahsoka.
No.
Yeah.
It was all about what's that planet? Persidia?
Yeah.
Them and the inhabitants of that planet.
Yeah. So anything else you wanted to talk about for part 5 before we go into
they brought up Princess Leia Organa, Senator Organa on there. So that was a nice throwback. I like that.
Yeah.
And how she was going to try to stall them.
It was kind of funny how, they said Senator Organa, and I'm like, Organa. I've heard that. Oh, right. It's like when you throw Senator in front of it, it kind of throws you off. I'm like, who's Organa again? Who's Senator Organa? Oh, yeah, right. That was a cool little thing. I mean, she's part of the rebellion, big part of the rebellion.
Yep.
So part 6 continues with them still riding in the space whale. Ahsoka and Hu Yang. They're sitting in Ahsoka's ship, chatting, basically. Do you guys know the name of, like, you have the Ghost, you have the Millennium Falcon. Do you know Ahsoka's ship's name?
No.
No, I don't actually. I don't think they've mentioned it that I've heard anyway.
So I looked it up online. It's T61978.
Okay.
Well, so I don't know what the T is for, but 6197 or sorry 1974. So
1974.
right, 1974. And the 6 is June. So June 1974. Dave Filoni was born June 7th, 1970. June 7th, 1974 was when Dave Filoni was born. Coincidence?
I think not.
No. There's never a coincidence when they throw numbers out there like that.
Yeah. So the T61974 and Dave Filoni was born June 7th, 1974. So yeah, I just thought that was really neat because I'm thinking what happened in 1974 that this is the name of the ship. So I looked up when Dave Filoni was born. I go, oh, there it is.
Well, the other question to me is, when did American Graffiti come out? George Lucas movie.
That would have been 75, I'm guessing.
All right.
75 or 76, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was after THX 1138, but
yeah. The other cool thing I thought too was Ahsoka and Hayang are kind of just chatting, and they're talking about stories, and he says, "Oh, that's world history parts 1, 2, and 3."
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Well, part 1 is the best." Now, is she talking about episode 1, or is she talking about the first trilogy of Being a New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi? Is that the history that's the part 1?
Yeah, I've been seeing stuff online. It's going back and forth whether it's the prequels, or is it episode 4, 5, and 6 they're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just how weird I am. I thought of the Mel Brooks movie History of the World Part 1, so.
No, that was the first thing that came out when I heard that too.
That's what I first thought of that too. And then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, is part 1, 2, and 3 the prequels, the original trilogy, and the sequels? But then the sequels wouldn't be history, or is it episode 1, 2, and 3, or is it episode 4, 5, and 6? Like, I don't know. It just, she said,
I was with Ken with History of the World Part 1. I was waiting for Ahsoka to say no, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted them to break into the Inquisition song. That's all I.
Yeah.
So in the end, she ends up saying, "You know what? Tell me a story." And he says, "A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away."
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that callback.
Put a big smile on my face. It did.
Yeah. So, and of course, the name of this episode was "Far, Far Away." So I guess that's where we get our title of this episode from.
And what I like too is the difference of the light speed or hyperspace. With the Purgles, there's like the rainbow colors and all the different colors. Because we're just used to seeing the white and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the stars, and seeing the Purgles with all the colors. Then in that hyperspace ring with when they came out, it was like a crackling blue as it stopped. So I found that pretty interesting.
I had a very much a 70s vibe to it. The colors flashing. I like that effect that they did, or however they did it. I'm assuming, it's computers.
That effect, that sequence, it made me think of, I don't know if you remember in 2001 A Space Odyssey, when Dave Bowman is traveling through what's supposedly, I assume, hyperspace, when he's traveling through the monolith, and it just sort of made me think of that sequence.
Yeah. When he goes ridiculous speed. Oh no, that was Spaceballs. Never mind.
And we're right back to Mel Brooks.
Yeah. So Sabine is a prisoner aboard. She goes willingly, but he still puts her in handcuffs and treats her as a prisoner.
And what did she expect?
Yeah.
Honestly, seriously, what did she expect?
What she expected was a room with a view.
Yeah.
What she expected. But yeah, no, I know.
As of this episode, this is what bothered me. It was Sabine in this episode. Oh, we had a deal. You know what? You made a deal with the devil, and this is what you're going to get. You think they're really going to, at this point in the episode, you really think they're going to honor your wishes?
Yeah. You're sitting in a prison cell with handcuffs, and you still think the deal's valid?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of those handcuffs,
ice cream.
Those handcuffs, it looked like she could slide her hands out of that like nothing. They look way too big for her hands.
Well, they're meant for a Wookiee.
Yeah, I think they were. They were. So, anyways, they get to the planet's surface. It's another Stonehenge type planet. So this one's built. It's a huge tower, which I'm assuming is the Witch's Tower.
Yeah, the witches of Dathomir.
Yeah, it's their tower, and at the top of it is the Stonehenge type thing, and then there's a stairwell that kind of goes down into the tower. So they come in this golden ship, and they land, and the witches are sitting there. The witches of Dathomir are sitting there, and they're playing with their Quidditch balls, which I guess they look like they're miniature maps of what this thing is. And they don't like the smell of Sabine. She smells like a Jedi, or it, they call her. They don't think it smells like a Jedi. They don't smell that, or they don't recognize what's his name there? Balin. Yeah, they don't.
Or was it Balin that they smelled and they all assumed it was Sabine?
Could be.
That's what I thought at first when they said that.
Yeah.
Because she's the prisoner, and and she hasn't really showed no Jedi skills anyways. I think they probably essentially got that from Balin, and it got deflected to Sabine because she was the prisoner.
Because I was thinking the same thing. Like, when did Sabine become a Jedi? She's nowhere near a Jedi. She's hardly shown any Jedi powers. So yeah, that's a good point for sure. So Sabine gets captured by these three Quidditch balls, and they take her down to this prison room, and she falls into her knees. And then the ship takes off. The gold ship takes off, and it's and I'm assuming all four witches fly off, and Balin Skull and Shin Hati are left on this tower and he's talking about how this place is creepy, or with children's stories, and we're gonna make a better world. Like, he's talking very open to her. So I don't think there's anybody there but those two. You don't see anybody else, but there's those two. So then Thrawn comes with his Star Destroyer and basically parks at the top of this tower, and all of a sudden the witches are there on the tower while he's parking. Did they not leave on the ship and go down the stairs and then came back up later? Like, it was very poorly edited.
Yeah, and it could have been when the ship took off. I thought maybe it might have been some of the robots that were flying the ship. I didn't catch that part.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me.
So watch it again, because where did the four witches disappear to? Because you see the ship take off, and the next scene, or later on, like moments later, all four of them are on the platform again after those two finished their kind of private talk. Yeah. It just, something is off there. Unless the witches went downstairs for some reason, and once when the Thrawn's Star Destroyer came, they kind of come back up again.
Yeah, it could have been some moment in time that passed.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed weird that the two of them were left up there by themselves, and everyone else left, and then they were all there again. Go back and watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. So Thrawn's ship is worse for wear.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to be space worthy.
Yeah, no kidding. But I think it's going to fit in that ring.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
I think that's what they're going to take. His ship's going to go into the center of that ring and go back. So
yeah, one of us said that a couple of episodes ago.
Yes, I wonder who that was now.
Yeah,
that ring is big enough to hold a Star Destroyer. So we got the night troopers. I'm not sure about the look of these night troopers.
Yeah,
I wasn't crazy about the lead there, Elrond, or whatever his name is, Elmer.
Elnock.
Elnock, that's it. I wasn't crazy about the look of that gold mask over top. It just, I don't know, it just seemed really weird to me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, if you look at a lot of those stormtroopers in there, they were all beat up. Granted, it's been 9 years, and if you even look at Thrawn's suit, you can see some of his suits took a beating on it. I'm not so sure that those are actually stormtroopers anymore. I think they might be some zombies or witch magic, like we seen earlier with that Inquisitor, keeping them together.
So I guess the question is why do they dress up like Van Halen's guitar? they got all these red stripes all over.
Well, I think that's like the witches fabric that they're keeping them together with.
Yeah,
either that or it's duct tape.
Yeah, to me, I looked at them and they were showing all their legs going across that one shot there, and I go, well, they're all dressed up like Eddie Van Halen's guitar.
Yeah, if you look at them, they're all their armor is cracked, broke.
Yeah,
you got gold on it. You got the wet red cloth holding it.
Yeah,
just a number of different things.
Yeah, but Thrawn makes a great entrance. I think he had one of probably the better entrances we ever see in the Star Wars anything, where all these death troopers or night troopers are there, and they're all chanting Thrawn, 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 and he comes marching down. I thought that was a great ending.
Yeah, that music with the organ.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was one of the highlights that I enjoyed of this episode, was seeing that, or seeing it and hearing it.
Yeah. Sabine is brought to Thrawn, and of course, all she cares about is where's Ezra? Where's Ezra? I want to see Ezra. And Thrawn says, I don't know if he's alive or dead or where he is. But I like how he says the desire to reunite with your long lost friend. That singular focus will reshape our galaxy.
Yeah.
Cocky much?
Well, it's very true. Sabine had her own interests at heart, and Ahsoka tried to explain that to her, but she wasn't getting it. And at the beginning of the episode, Hu Yang was trying to explain that to Ahsoka, you know. So, but I agree with Ron. It was a point. This could, come back and just, haunt her over it, just to find Ezra. Then, what's Ezra going to think of this?
Yeah. But what I find interesting, though, is, okay, so Thrawn's been out of touch for, how long is this? 9 years? 10 years?
9 years.
9 years. So in those 9 years, so the Star Destroyer was built and destroyed. The Empire is basically gone. The New Republic is basically controlling things. Yet Thrawn is thinking, when I come back, it's going to reshape the galaxy. I'm going to be the one that changes. He doesn't know what the galaxy's shape is right now.
No, but he has the witches of Dathomir, the great mothers. They know what's going on, and they're feeding him information. And as we could see, jumping a little bit forward, they're filling all these caskets into his ship.
Yeah. I want to talk about that. So what are in those caskets? Are these troopers? Are they clones?
I think they're either witches or dead clones, or who knows what. They're dead, but I think the witches are going to bring him back. They're going to have an army of the dead.
So are we going to have zombie troopers running around?
Well, that's what we had with that Inquisitor that got killed. He essentially was some type of zombie or magic or whatever that was keeping him alive. I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, it will be into October, so it's a Halloween episode.
Exactly.
Of live action Star Wars. I find it interesting too how he said you gambled the fate of the galaxy on your belief that Ezra is alive and fine. Yeah.
That's true, because she doesn't even know if he's alive.
Yeah.
She's just, it's all hope and a prayer.
So oftentimes in Star Wars, the villains don't see themselves as villains. They think they're doing the right thing, or even like not just Star Wars, but most places. The villains think that they're doing, like Thanos thought he was doing a good thing by killing half of the people on the universe, because there's too much population, it's too much people. So he felt he was doing a good thing. Emperor Palpatine thought he was doing a good thing. They all think they're doing a good thing. Thrawn seems to almost want to destroy the galaxy. Like, his plans seem to be like, he's been gone. You know what I mean? Like, he seems like he's like, oh, I'm going to change everything when I get back.
A certain amount of that, I think, is ego too, though. You got to remember, one of Thrawn's defining characteristics is that he's got an ego that makes Palpatine look like an Ewok. It's just the thing about Thrawn. One of the defining characteristics of Thrawn is that he really thinks he is the future of the universe, of the galaxy, of the Empire, and he believes that so wholeheartedly and so without any hesitation that it really is a defining characteristic of. I think you can almost see it in this episode. He's almost offended that he got exiled.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Well, you look at him, he's a statistician. He's like even keeled the whole time.
Right.
His emotions don't get the best of him.
No.
And look how arrogant and cocky he was. Like, yeah, I'll let you go, Sabine. Go ahead. Then the dark troopers are giving him the night troopers are giving him her guns back and lightsaber back, and here you go. Good luck. Don't die.
Yeah. Here's a ride. Here's a howler. Yeah. So she leaves from I guess this is the bottom of that tower, like the ground level, when they give her the guns and the lightsaber, and she takes this howler, this wolf, dog, horse combo thing, and she leaves. So then we cut to, they're standing on some kind of ledge and they're watching her leave. There was no ledge like that anywhere in any of the wide shots of that tower. There was nothing even close to looking like that. So that bothered me. Like the inconsistencies like that. There was nothing.
Yeah, but we only really seen essentially two sides of that tower.
Well, no, we saw the front, and we saw the side from the mountain, and we saw the side from the front. So she clearly leaves out the front because she doesn't leave into the mountain because it's right up against the mountain, right? So she clearly leaves out of the front. She doesn't, and they're watching her from the front leaving.
All right.
Yeah, it just, I was like, where'd this ledge come from all of a sudden? It was one of those things like details, guys. You did so good in the last episode, and there was screw ups this one. Oh, well, anyways, yeah. So Sabine gets attacked by a group of nomads, and the Howler takes off. Again, this is another thing that drove me nuts. Like I said, there's so many little things in here that drove me nuts. She's deflecting the blaster bolts with her Beskar, which is awesome, which is great. She's using all her weapons. She's using her gun. She's using her grappling hook with all of a sudden has electrodes at the end. She takes out her lightsaber, and these guys have these metal poles, and she's hitting these metal poles, and it's just kind of pushing them back. Like it should cut them in half. Like a lightsaber should cut through those metal poles like nothing.
Well, it did cut through the poles, as we seen earlier or later in the episode when Balin found them laying dead.
Well, even even Sabine's, like one of them cut through. Like one of the nomads, her lightsaber cut through the pole, but there was like 2 or 3 before that it just kind of reflected off of it and kind of pushed them back. It's those type of inconsistencies, like, or unless that one guy, he got a Chinese knockoff spear, like he didn't get a good quality one or something. It just didn't.
Yeah, maybe some of the material in some of those spears had some Beskar in it, because the Beskar would reflect the lightsaber.
Yeah, they need a consistency here. Like even they do it in Return of the Jedi 2, where Luke and Vader are fighting, and both their sabers kind of hit the railing, and the sabers kind of bounce off the railing, and some sparks fly. And then later on, Vader takes a swipe, and there's these 3 big, huge pipes, and all 3 of them get knocked off in one swing. I mean, Star Wars is full of those inconsistencies with lightsabers hitting the ground, and they bounce off to the ground instead of actually cutting a hole or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, and then after she gets all those nomads, she doesn't like check them to see if they have anything that could be useful for her. She's in the middle of nowhere. All she has is a howler, a couple of guns, and her lightsaber and a blanket. And there's these nomads that, maybe they have food on them, maybe they have good weapons on them. She doesn't check any of that. Like survival instincts. Come on, kick them in. Like,
Yeah, well, she's trying to go look for their wallet then and take all their cash.
Yeah, stuff like that. In case there's a McDonald's down the road and she could buy herself something to eat.
Or take the cash and hire a cab.
Yeah, because now she's walking because the howler took off.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyways, I can never remember her name. Little girl Sith. She knew to check the bodies for stuff. She was all over them checking.
Oh, Shin?
Yeah. She was checking them. So Thrawn's primary directive, he explains, is to get back home. He says, I don't care if Ezra and Sabine are left here or if they're killed here. It doesn't matter to me. My primary directive is to get home. And the same thing goes for those 2 mercenaries you brought with you, referring to Balin and Shin.
Yeah.
Kind of shows like, he's not a nice guy.
Nope.
Well, there's something more going on with this planet, that even Balin could sense something going on here, something bigger. Thrawn wants to get off the planet. Thrawn's ready to leave.
Oh yeah.
And with his forces dwindling, were there battles prior, in that 9-year period with the inhabitants on this planet, or something bigger going on why he wants to totally get out of there and he's ready to leave now? He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Even that Enoch was saying, to Sabine, yeah, good luck, don't die. He knows her odds are not going to be great, because why would you give her guns and lightsaber back?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's something bigger going on that we don't know about.
Yeah, we'll probably find out. Like those little nomads, the little turtle people, they seem to survive okay. The Noti.
The Noti.
Yeah.
They blend in with the scenery. They hide underneath the rocks.
Yeah. Or as I like to call them, the people from Frozen, the rocks from Frozen.
Yeah.
That seems.
Are there future Ninja Turtles?
Yeah,
that's what I thought of.
You thought of Ninja Turtles? It reminded me of the little rock people from Frozen.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh yeah. Speaking of what's his name? Enrock, with his gold mask.
Uh-huh.
First thing I thought of was Twiggy from Buck Rogers. When I saw that gold mask.
I see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
What's up, Buck?
Exactly.
What's up, Thrawn?
Now we're just aging ourselves.
Yeah, no kidding.
Everybody that's listening to this is going, who's Tweaky? Who's Buck Rogers?
Yeah. So look it up, kids. Tweaky Buck Rogers. Do
your homework.
Google search. You'll see what he looked like. So the Noti people, that I think that was basically puppets, the way that was done for the most part. We agreeing?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was almost 100% puppets. There was probably maybe a little bit of CGI from the more distant shots, perhaps. So they take Sabine to their village, and Ezra's there, and they finally meet up after 9-10 years of being missing each other. And Ezra says, "Oh, it's about time you showed up." And she should have ran and hugged him. It just that whole meeting felt weird.
Yeah. It did, like not even so much as a handshake, you know.
Yeah, like they eventually
hey, bro, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have thought that Sabine would have gone over there and hugged her or hugged him, or Ezra would have ran over there and hugged her and did that. You know, I could see maybe Sabine not doing it because she knows that how she got here is bad news, and that Ezra's probably not going to be too happy with her. Because, you know, Ezra's like, yeah, I can't wait to leeve here. And Sabine's like, we'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. Like he says, thanks for coming. I can't wait to get home.
Well, then one other point is now it makes sense why Ezra never got back. If that's where the Purgle, the space whales, they go to Peridia to die.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can think, well, now you take me back home after they trapped him there. But so where they migrate there, then just they all die. Because some of the bigger whales, I could understand that if they're the older ones. But some of those look pretty small, almost like essentially baby whales.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like that's where they go to die.
Well, I mean, if you look at Earth, whales beach themselves, and oftentimes they do it in large pods, and nobody knows why.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it could be that type of scenario. So the Great Mothers come. They tell Thrawn that the thread has spoke to them, and another comes, a Jedi via a star whale. They call them star whales instead of space whales for some reason. I guess it's a different galaxy, makes sense. But he right away assumes it's Ahsoka. He's never even met Ahsoka, as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember Thrawn and Ahsoka ever meeting. He goes, "Was this the recently deceased Ahsoka?" And he looks at the witch there. Like there's still a few Jedi floating around. I mean, he just assumes it's Ahsoka right away. I mean,
who's to say it's not Luke?
Yeah.
Because essentially he's the biggest Jedi right now that's supposedly alive.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah. So it's anyways, so he says, let's assume that Ahsoka's still alive and that she's on her way. And if you see any whales, destroy them with extreme prejudice, is what he tells it. You know, to tell your people up in the Star Wars, in the hyperspace ring, to destroy these whales when they come in. Could make for an interesting show next week when Ahsoka arrives and these whales and this ring is there. What do we think is going to happen? Are the whales going to destroy the wing? Is Thrawn going to get back? Is he going to be stuck there?
No, I don't think the ring gets destroyed because I think that's their way of getting back. I think that's the way everybody gets back one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't think the ring gets destroyed. Essentially, the crap's going to hit the fan on next episode with everything between Sabine and Ezra and what Sabine did to get there, and knowing that Thrawn's going to get back, and then Ahsoka is going to get there, and there's going to be some battles.
It's going to be interesting for sure. It's kind of neat that we don't know what's happening. This is all new territory for us.
Because I think going into it, we all knew this is what was going to happen. Everybody was going to meet up. Essentially, I didn't think it would be in this soon. I thought maybe episode 7, maybe at the beginning of episode 8. But now we have 2 full episodes to figure this out and what they're going to do, and do they get back, or are they trapped there, or is it to be continued on after episode 8?
Well, exactly. Like that's just it. Like we don't know. Like we've had so much Star Wars over the years where we knew the ending before the series even started. Like we knew in episodes 1, 2, and 3, how it was going to end. It was going to, go into 4. And then Rogue One came out. Well, we knew that they were going to get the Death Star plans and they're going to pass it off to Leia. That's how it's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
Rebels, Clone Wars, the animated series. We knew it was going to end with the rise of the Empire, and the Empire is going to be in power at the end of the Clone Wars, at the end of Rebels. We have no idea what's going to happen here. We know eventually that the First Order takes control again, and that goes into Rey's time period.
Yeah.
But we don't know if Thrawn's part of that. We don't know if he's, you know what I mean? I feel like this is almost like as Star Wars fans, something new for us where we don't know the future yet.
Yeah. And you got to think too, the Rey storyline, I mean, that's a good 20 years from where we are with Ahsoka, at least, if not more. It might be more like closer to 30, because I mean, Rey, when we meet her, she's what, maybe 20, 21 years old at that point.
Yeah.
And Luke's been in exile for over a decade, so I mean, there's a good long section of time frame there that they can basically play with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like Rey scavenging AT-AT walkers and Imperial technology from the first Empire that was in New Hope and Empire Strikes Back: Return of the Jedi. That's the technology that she's scavenging from. So we don't know too much in this time frame what exactly how things happen. Like I said, but eventually the First Order does get control again, and that's what what's his name says, that it's a revolving door almost, where
exactly what Balin was talking about. It's either going to be one or the other all the time. And I think now Balin's character is coming out. Before he was the villain. Now I think he's like in the middle. He's like, I'm ready to end it all with the Jedi and with the Empire and start something new.
He's got a couple of lines in that episode where he just, you can tell he's just like, I've had it enough already. I want neither. I don't want the Jedi, and I don't want the Empire, and I don't even really want the Republic.
So I guess it's interesting to see what's going to happen in these next two. Any predictions?
No, I'd rather not make no predictions right now. I want to enjoy it and not let anything sway my opinions going in the next couple episodes. I'm enjoying it now.
Fair enough.
I agree, because I made one prediction I made was that we weren't going to see Thrawn until the very last episode. So
so I think we're going to see a Star Destroyer go into that ring.
Oh, you think?
That's the prediction I'm going to make. That ring that they removed from Epcot and they put it into space now.
There you go.
That ring.
It's a Stargate ring.
The Stargate ring. Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Alrighty. That was a fun show, guys. Can't wait for 2 weeks from now when we record the final episode of the Ahsoka series. Is this only going to be one series? Is it going to be two? You don't know yet. But in the meantime, Ken, take it away.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us your idea for the show, and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. All logos, sounds, and songs that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned solely by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be, the ownership of The Solo Show podcast. We hope you'll join us for the next adventure on The Solo Show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.